Welcome to the Write Good Books podcast, the audio companion to WriteGoodBooks.com, with your host Jason Bougger.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Jason, joined again for the first time since last time with our co-host, Scott Michael Childers.
That was smooth.
That was smooth. We had a little scheduling conflict last time, but we're both here again, enjoying the weather of July and getting poured on our way here to the luscious recording studio.
In beautiful downtown Lincoln, Nebraska.
The most beautiful.
It's not really downtown or beautiful.
Yeah, so
it might
there
be.
You go. So for those of you still listening, we
edit here.
We'll be today we're going to talk about 5 popular writing myths. Maybe not popular, but ones we've heard a couple of times throughout the years as we partake in our craft of writing fiction. So we'll hand it to Scott for the first one.
Okay, myth number 1. Myth is that you will be able to come up with a story that is completely, 100%, never heard in any way, shape, or form, original. That is a myth.
That is a myth. Because everything has been done before.
Well,
right?
Yeah. You could take almost any story, and if you break out all of the details and take it to its very soul, it will be one of just a few storylines. The hero's journey, for example. You can take multiple stories, and they all are a hero's journey. What makes everything actually original is the telling of it. So while your plot is not original in the big scheme of things, the details, the characters, the settings, etc., that's what makes it original. That's what makes it worth writing.
Right, and even on the smaller scale, you can write a story about people living on a spaceship. And one of your readers will eventually say, "Hey, I already saw that happen in Star Trek." Every genre is going to have tropes that just happen based on the genre. How many Civil War stories can you read that aren't going to be similar stories?
Well, now you're getting historical fiction, which is based on recreation of some sort. But
but that is a myth. You're not going to be original, and you don't have to be original in that sense.
Yes, in the big idea, no, you're not going to be original. But in how you tell it, that's where your originality comes from.
Because nobody else will have created the characters you create.
Hopefully,
yeah. Okay, so myth number 2. You can get better at writing without actually writing. This would be, I'm not ready to write yet. I'm just going to read more books and do more research and do more world building. But your writing won't improve until you actually get out there and practice and start doing it.
Yeah, you can have a really strong theoretical base. And hey, you're doing it right now listening to us. Great. You have interest in learning how other people do things and that type of stuff. Great. However, if you don't write a single word, you're going to plateau really low. You need to get in there and get the words in.
Right, and you may be able to know what the common mistakes you shouldn't make are if you see them in someone else's work, or you read about, I know we're not supposed to start a story this way or whatever, but you're not going to know that you make those mistakes until you try writing. And, you just can't improve without practice.
Myth number 3. Your readers owe you something. So when you're writing, and there are some out there who do this, they believe that the readers owe them, the author, some sort of respect or dignity because you handed down this tale of greatness from on high. That's kind of a bad attitude to have towards your readers. Now, granted, they should realize that, you worked hard on it. Yes, absolutely. Should they be respectful of the fact that you chose to write as opposed to do some other activity? Yes. Do they owe you anything? Do they owe you to be lifted up on high? No.
Do they owe you an Amazon review?
No. They don't owe you a Goodreads or Amazon or any other book review. They don't owe you a read, actually.
Right. Yeah.
So you write for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You don't write for your readers in general. That's a whole other webcast we could do.
Do you owe anything to your readers?
That depends.
That depends.
There are cases where you would. For example, if you're writing a series that is universally read, you may owe your readers some news updates. That doesn't mean you owe them a book every 5 months.
Yeah.
But you may owe them communication once in a while. I'm not one of those who's in favor of constant daily updates.
Sure.
That's not me. That's
right.
not. But if something is taking a long time, you may owe them some news if it's in the middle of a series that is highly anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
George R. Martin is the example I hear.
And I hear his fans complaining about that all the time.
Yeah. And maybe he doesn't owe them anything. It's a maybe on that one.
I would say you owe your reader one thing: fulfill the promises you make in your books.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
outside of the actual writing, yeah. In the writing, yes, you owe your readers that's the very same thing. Yes, but outside of the actual stories you tell, it's a bizarre relationship.
Yes, they're all humans.
Yeah, crazy that.
Okay, number 4. This is a favorite of mine. This is more a couple years ago, I suppose, but number 4, your platform is more important than your manuscript. When I first started pitching my novel to agents, I would read on so many sites bad advice such as, do not pitch until you have your platform. Have your platform before you even begin writing your book. Have your readers just waiting and waiting for this book. They'll be so excited for it because they already know you because of your platform. I call shenanigans.
I call hooliganism.
Whoa, that's even worse.
Shenanigans and... never mind. I was going for a bad pun there. I would agree with that. I think you need something to build a platform around to begin with.
Yeah.
You as an author are an unknown quantity, and yeah, it might work for some people, but usually you need that manuscript.
Yeah.
You need that really good story, and that is your entrance point to these people's lives.
Right. I actually asked an agent point blank, does a platform matter to you? And she said, usually it doesn't, unless you have 6 million Twitter followers and you're... But then you're not marketing the book, you're marketing yourself already.
Right.
So that's a little different. I think we're saying, you want to write a book of fiction, nobody cares who you are until that book is out.
Okay.
I think.
Are you trying to be a author or are you trying to be a celebrity?
Yeah.
If you're trying to be a celebrity, then yeah, absolutely your platform matters because you are the brand.
Yeah, and in that case, your platform's not about your fiction so much as yourself.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
I would say, and I'm a big platform guy, I suppose, but I would say focus on getting your book done and then worry about the rest.
Yeah.
Number 5 to Scott.
Number 5, you'll be able to quit your day job after you sell your first book. No.
Could we like make that one be true though?
Oh, I'd love it.
Not be a myth.
Now, here's the reality. There are going to be those success stories that will be able to instantly make a living off of their writing. All right, and I'm using the phrase instantly on purpose. After a while, if you continue to produce good stuff, then you'll have a catalog of work that will start to sell and get residuals and checks further on the line that will allow you to quit a day job if that's your goal. But yeah, it's going to be a rare case where you as a writer are going to be able to just sell a work and then that's it, hand in your I quit letter at the same day. Not saying it's impossible, but it's one of those things you got to keep working at it if you want to become a writer. until you get that backlog of work that will start paying dividends later on.
Right, nobody just gets that $250,000 advance out of the blue.
Well, yeah. There might have been one or two. But those were those celebrities that had their platform.
Right. And even like, I know Brandon Sanderson has talked about how he's a 8-year overnight success. You got to work and work and work, and eventually your writing might become your day job. I guess that's the goal, but you really got to work at it.
Well, and let me put this. There are some people who have turned writing into their day job, but they're not writing fiction. A lot of them, there's quite a few people out there who are able to do freelance writing, article writing on a per word or per job basis. But even then, you got to build up that resume. You got to build up those contacts for it to be, a full-time job. That's possible too.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I don't want people saying, "Hey, what about this guy who's making these figures?"
Right. Hey, just for fun, I'll plug a site for freelancers. Go to therightlife.com. Good freelance resources.
So there you go.
But, yeah, and then even if it's like you said, then writing is your day job, and then that's still not exactly what we mean when we say quit your day job. Quit your day job to me means I live off my royalties and work on my next book while those royalties come in every quarter or whatever.
Right.
And doesn't happen too often.
Yeah. And like you were saying, those overnight successes are like 8 years in the works. So yeah, keep plugging away, and someday you will be the next overnight success that took 3 to 5 years.
Your deadline is starting to come already.
I don't have any. I'll quit when I retire, apparently.
Buy our books. Buy lots of our books.
Myth number 6, we never plug anything on our own podcast. That one's getting edited heavily.
That was our 5. I'll throw in a number 6 just for fun, because we got a little bit of time left.
Myth number 5.1, there's always 5 myths on a 5 myth podcast.
There you go. Myth number 6, self-published writers are writers who couldn't make the cut.
Yeah, I would disagree with that.
Yeah. I know years ago, that was how self-publishing was viewed, and now I think the general writing community considers it just as legitimate as traditional publishing, except maybe some traditional published authors might not. But
there's some people out there who have a stigma against it. But let's talk about this. You don't have to be one or the other.
Right.
There's many writers out there now that have a mix of traditional publishing, self-publishing, small press publishing. They are using all the tools available to them to have the career and tell the stories in the way they want to now. So it's no longer a traditional published or self-published author. It's a nice mix of things.
Yeah, and I like it that way.
Yeah.
And, my novel was with a traditional publisher, small press, and my short stories have all been too. But then I view, this blog and this podcast, that's almost self-publishing in a sense too, just for the...
Well, we have no sponsors, so yes, it is.
Oh, wow. Buy our books and visit our sponsors.
Who we don't have.
A little bit on... we're rambling now. We're at 15 minutes. You got anything else?
Myth, podcasts always have to be 15 minutes long. No, I think that we only had some quick spots on this, so I think we've hit those myths. I would like to say, if any of our listeners want us to expand on any of these, or would like to argue with us, like, yes, this really is true, this is not a myth, please let us know.
Oh, yeah, leave a comment on the blog in the comments section of this post. And, we might expand on some of these, too, on future podcasts, because writing myths and debunking them is fun. So, I think that'll do it for this episode. So visit us on the web at www.writegoodbooks.com/podcast, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.